So I'm hiking up to Stanford Point. It's more of a secluded area of Yosemite. I haven't seen anyone out here. There wasn't really anyone parked at the trailhead. I think it is 5.2 miles up, 10.4 round trip, and it's been very dense forest, which is kind of nice, but also you can see good views. It's a lot more quiet in the forest. You can still hear the waterfall way off Yosemite Falls. I'll show y'all the point. I'm pretty tired. I feel good, I feel energized, but like starting to lose motivation to do these vlogs, but we'll see. These trees are truly massive. You can see the indentation that all this dirt's brought up with it as it fell over, and then how freaking big each piece is. Like, it's hard to get a size comparison, but dang, they cut it up, move it off to the side. Holy cow. I heard like my voice just echo. Hello. Hallelujah. That echo though. I feel like my hearing has become heightened since doing all these hikes alone, because one, you don't have any other people around you, like especially when you're secluded, and so like the only thing you hear is something that's moving. And especially like sleeping out in the bed of my truck out, there aren't people around. You're always that Native American like sense of, I mean, any sense, not particularly Native American, any settler that's going to be out camping, any person that's out camping in the wild, you know, you want to be keen to paying attention to your surroundings. And so every little movement you're going to hear. Like maybe my hearing isn't better, maybe I'm just focusing on those sounds more so, but it's like there's so many lizards and squirrels that like as you're walking they'll just scuttle off, but it's like a loud noise, and so you never really know. You know, I'm waiting on a day and I run into a bear. I talked to someone who saw one yesterday, and I'm definitely gonna hear it then. Hopefully I hear it then. Hopefully he doesn't hear me first. But I do have a knife, but it's in my backpack, so I might as well not even have a weapon on me if I ever get run up on. And if it's a freaking bear, well, Leonardo DiCaprio could tell you best. I mean, good freaking luck, but we'll see. Like, look at this log, and look how they just break off into these freaking squares. It's like, how? So I finally ran into somebody. He was coming out of this area, so I'm off the trail. He was coming out of there, and I was like, hey man, did you go to the point? And he was like, no, actually I didn't. I just spent the night out here. There's a campsite, and as he said, there is a nice little area. It's very nice. And then I just thought, like, you came all the way out here and spent the night, and we're probably 0.2, 0.3 miles from Stanford Point. And I'm like, you didn't get curious to like you didn't get curious to go to where the name of the trail was leading to? But oh well, to each their own. Well, I don't know if this is technically Stanford Point. Since I didn't see a sign, there were multiple trails that split, and I saw this clearing down, and so I figured might as well come check it out. And it's nice nonetheless, and I think this is where I'm going to chill for a bit. I'm gonna try and go to the other side of this after I eat an avocado and make a video. So, as I have said a number of times, avocado is a very wholesome food. So wholesome that it is my food of choice to bring with me to eat once I get to a good spot on the hike. About to show y'all my little process of staying fueled and energized on these hikes. Organic, Calavo, I'm from California, avocado. I gotta get an avocado from California because I'm in California, and where else would I get one from when I'm in California if they grow good avocados here in the first place? It's a very good climate here for growing things. It's like the Mediterranean. Wow, that is a good avocado. I did that just to freak my mom out. It's not entirely ripe. There's some crunch in there, but it's fuel nonetheless. You know, one thing taking a hiking, like going on a hiking expedition will do is it'll get your diet right, because one, you don't want to take BS food with you on a hike. You need to take good filling, wholesome food with you. And 2, you're gonna get your diet right because you're not just eating whenever you want. You don't have access to a ton of food. You gotta bring your food with you. There's no fast food, no junk food. And so it's a great way to become strict with what you're eating. And C.S. Lewis said, food is intended to repair the body, right? So that infers that there should be some physical toll on your body in order for you to eat food. And that sounds kind of silly in today's day and age because you could literally sit on the couch all day if you wanted. But we as humans have evolved from, having to go hunt or till the ground for our food. Each individual had to be tasked with finding their own food for the day. And so oftentimes that meant getting up and going to find it out in the wild. And that's a physical endeavor. And so you're earning your food. So I earned this avocado today, most definitely. So yeah, I encourage you guys to start taking your diet more seriously, and maybe with that approach of let me work for my food, do something, go hit the Stairmaster for 10 minutes, go do some lunges, go do some burpees, something. I don't know. Or don't. Do whatever you want, but that's what I would do. That's what I do. That's what I do. Don't listen to me. I'm just a dude that eats avocados straight up. If you struggle with dieting or eating well, I highly recommend doing a 24-hour fast, because once you break that fast, you're going to realize that anything is going to taste good at that point. And so if you struggle with eating healthy foods because you don't think they taste good, well, go a while without eating, and then you'll appreciate it a little bit more. That's what I did. I used to not eat a lot of stuff, but now I will eat pretty much anything. Avocado is a great food. Another great power food are nuts. I bought a mixed bag one, cashews, pecans, and almonds. I didn't used to like pecans and almonds until, I started hiking and realizing I only have a certain amount of food, and this is one of them. And when you're tired and you need fuel, you'll appreciate pretty much anything. And so that's a great way to get into eating healthy. Some other wholesome foods, beef jerky. I love it. High in protein. It's got sodium. You need sodium to stay hydrated. For some reason, we grew up thinking salt was bad for you. That's not true. Without salt, you cannot be hydrated. Salt is mentioned in the Bible a lot. It's important. It's a core element for our life. There's some sodium in here as well. So fruits, banana, avocado, orange, apple, blueberries, plenty of good fruits to have a good wholesome diet. Nuts, steaks, chicken, fish especially. I enjoy a hike like this so much more than, say, the Yosemite Falls hike, which was amazing, and the view up there is spectacular in its own right, obviously. But it's the most popular hike in all of Yosemite. I counted 65 people that I passed on the way up. And here I saw one person, he was a camper. And, it's off the beaten path a little bit, and you still get a very picturesque view. And for me, I like the solitude, I think, most of the time. It's not great all the time. Sometimes companionship is ideal and favored, and I look for that. Shout out Pierre. I hope you watch this at some point. I met Pierre on my trip, and we spent a couple of days doing some different things together, and it was really cool. And after he left, I was hungover from the companionship a little bit, and I felt a little bad, a little lonely, low key, especially considering I did those 2 hikes on my first day here in Yosemite and was the most tired I've ever been, and no energy. I was just kind of down bad, but I was not built different that day. But I'm built different now, way more built different now, because I got some good sleep. I had a good chill day yesterday, and now I'm ready to really, I don't want to move. This is so picturesque. I don't even want to move, but I got other things I got to do. I got to go back to that waterfall. I'm going to get under it, and I'm going to try and make a video. I haven't seen anyone up underneath that thing. Part of it you can get under, the other parts in the pool, which I would not try to do. It is so cool how streams form, just like rivers, but like streams are even more in peculiar areas. That's a hard word for me. Peculiar areas. All right, over logs. I think this is called Meadowbrook, according to the GPS, although I myself am not coming up on the GPS anymore. I don't know why. And it goes all the way down. And then it makes a waterfall right off the side. So today's word comes from the book of Job in the Old Testament. I'm going to try not to slip to my death getting here. No, we're good. Job is an excellent book in the Bible. It's very popular. Job was a man of high esteem, a lot of wealth, and Satan came and attacked his health and his livelihood. During that time, Job is visited by three friends. They come to comfort him. Chapter 2, verse 11. Now when Job's three friends heard of all this evil that had come upon him, they came each from his own place to come show him sympathy and comfort him. And when they saw him from a distance, they did not recognize him. And they raised their voices and wept. And they sat with him on the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and no one spoke a word to him, for they saw that his suffering was very great. So these are good friends. If you have at least one good friend in your life, you're blessed. When someone is suffering, maybe a loss of a family member, and they are grieving, a lot of times there's nothing that you can say that will help. Just being there is enough. Just being there to comfort them when they're ready to talk about it. Just being there to be a shoulder for them to cry on, to hug. So I passed up Stanford Point a long time ago, and I saw a sign that said Dewey Point was only 0.6 miles, so I just kept going. And now I'm at Dewey Point. As always, very much worth it. Some cool rock structures to go out on. Dewey Point, Stanford Point. I don't know the name of the trail, but I'm in Yosemite, California, National Park, and this is God's country. It's beef jerky. That's what I'm eating right now. It's my favorite snack in the world. You know, I was thinking to myself, there must be a lot less snakes in California than there are in Texas, because I haven't ran into any on all these hikes. And I almost just pissed myself. It is a rattlesnake. It hasn't really moved. Now, every other stick that I see, I think for half a second that it's a snake. I borderline fear snakes. I'm definitely scared of them, in a way. I wouldn't quite say I'm fully fearful of them, because I try not to fear anything in this world. You know, you can be scared of the dark, but you don't fear the dark. And now every freaking lizard that scuttles past, and the leaves that scuttle with it, sounds kind of like a rattle every time now. So I got me a stick. It's my snake swacking stick. If I see one and it's on the left, I can yeet. If I see one that's on the right and it strikes at me, yeet. And if I see one on the left and the right, I hit it with the Michael Jackson hee hee. Look at this tree. Awooga.
Don't do that. Give him another piece. Cut a piece. Give it to him. Just a tiny piece, and that's it. That's a big piece. Oh. Stop throwing it so far. No, that's it. No more. What are you supposed to be doing? I'll leave my water behind too. Huh?
Is this thing live? Yep. All right. We're live at one of the coolest spots I've gotten to get a video at. For all ancient peoples, the gods of neighboring nations were not fictional. From the perspective of the authors of the Hebrew scriptures, the spiritual beings worshipped by other tribes, clans, and nations surrounding them were real. Frequently in the Old Testament, the words gods is even used to describe them. They were not God in the sense that Yahweh is God, but rather spirits created by Yahweh, their God, along with everything else that exists, and who had, since their creation, fallen into rebellion against him. These were spirits that sought the destruction of humanity. I'm worried about my dang phone blowing over because this wind is blowing, but I'm just going to stop worrying about it. Ancient Israel understood these gods of the nations to have been assigned to those nations by Yahweh, the Most High God, at one particular point. As part of the judgment against humanity at the Tower of Babel, described in Genesis 11, God distanced himself from the nations of the world, assigning angelic beings to shepherd them. Deuteronomy 32:8. The nations were not to worship these beings, nor were these beings to seek to be worshipped. Deuteronomy 4:19. They were not only to shepherd the nations in the sense of governance, but to religiously shepherd them back to the Most High God. Other than Saint Michael, who was assigned to the nation of Israel, these beings failed in this assignment. Yahweh, the God of Israel, has promised to judge all of creation and restore it to justice, its rightful order. This justification of the cosmos includes not only the visible, material world and human persons, but also the invisible world of angels and demons. The lake of fire, as a description of eternal condemnation, was created not for humans, but for the devil and his angels. Matthew 25, verse 41. This particular judgment, the judgment of the powers and principalities, both in the heavenly places and on the earth, is known as the death of the gods because of its description in Psalm 82:81. Just as is the case with humanity, the judgment of these principalities and powers, spiritual kings and rulers of nations, is not entirely put off to the end, but intrudes at various points in history. The 10 plagues that trigger nascent Israel's exodus from Egypt are described as Yahweh rendering judgment against the gods of Egypt. Exodus 12:12. It should go without saying that from the perspective of the author of Exodus, God is not judging or punishing a group of fictional characters. The gods of Egypt are seen as real spiritual beings who have led the Egyptian people into wickedness and evil. These principalities are the ones whom Yahweh, the God of Israel, holds most responsible for the evils of the Egyptian empire and culture. Modern interpreters often no. If it's cracked, I can't tell. Dang, I'm just gonna stop there.
Yeah, we're gonna bring Stanford next time.
Can I see that too? That's wild.
Why'd you put your sticker right there?